Hey everybody, and welcome to part 2 in our series on autonomous trucking. In part 1, we explored the autonomous landscape. In this segment, we'll cover key milestones, provide a timeline for rollout, and as always, we'll let truckers weigh in on what they think. In fact, let's give drivers the first word.
Nobody even thinks that they're as far ahead as they are.
I believe this is a lot closer than most people think. I still see a lot of people say that we're not going to see this for a long time. It's ready to roll out right now. After the last few months, they've worked on implementing a lot of 5G, which anyone that's looked into autonomous knows they need that to make the trucks operate the way they need them to. And it's here. There's trucks being manufactured with it already, kind of under the radar, and it's here if they wanted to. Obviously, the public's conception of it right now is not that high. When you talk to them, they're okay with Teslas. They're not okay with tractor trailers driving themselves for the most part, which is a good thing for us as truck drivers.
Daimler introduced the first road-legal self-driving truck in an epic projection spectacle at the Hoover Dam in 2015. In 2016, Uber laid claim to the first autonomous commercial delivery, hauling 51,000 cans of Budweiser 120 miles under carefully controlled conditions. In 2017, Peloton Technology began testing electronically linked platoons. In 2018, Stedke Robotics remotely piloted a truck with no in-cab operator at 100 miles on a rural road through the sugarcane fields of South Florida. And in 2019, Plus AI claimed to have made the first hands-free transcontinental freight shipment, hauling Land O'Lakes butter from California to Pennsylvania in 3 days with a safety driver sitting passively behind the wheel. All of these milestones were publicity stunts, but a lot of real progress has been made as well. Too Simple, a company with headquarters in both Northern California and China, already claims to have 22 paying freight clients and recently announced plans to roll out a nationwide autonomous freight network by 2024. Now, before anyone gets any ideas about a bunch of zombie robot trucks with no drivers, it's important to know that there are 5 levels of automation. The first 4, which is all anybody expects to see for the next 10 years, require drivers. Stedke Robotics, the only serious contender with a business plan that called for immediately replacing in-cab drivers with remote operators, was unable to sell investors on the idea and went out of business in March. The market apparently agrees with drivers who say that so far no one has come up with a way for a machine to replicate everything that a human driver can do, especially when it comes to operating in urban environments, docking, finessing heavy or shifting loads, and raising and lowering landing gear. Smart money is hoping to cash in on the low-hanging fruit, long, straight highway hauls with dry vans, and platooning, the autonomous version of follow the leader, where a lead truck with a driver is followed at close range by a tail of electronically linked robot trucks with or without drivers. By sticking to easier loads and roads, autonomous trucking companies hope to reduce the logistical and regulatory hurdles they have to overcome on the path to profits. To date, 29 states have passed some kind of autonomous legislation and 27 have approved platooning, at least on a pilot basis. Approved states already encompass more than 80% of U.S. freight traffic. One of those states is Ohio, which has invested $14 billion over the past decade to make its roads the most autonomous friendly in the country.
We want to make sure the technology is safe. The best way to do that is, from a state perspective, to try to partner with local communities, companies, to kind of make sure we're all going towards the same place, right? Like, we want to make sure that what is being developed by these companies is going to make local communities safer, that as this transportation industry changes and the way manufacturing changes, we want to make sure we keep these jobs and the development of these new systems in the state of Ohio.
Most states still require a human driver to sit at the controls, and that's not likely to change in the near future. But autonomous technology companies are lobbying for every advantage they can get. Pronto AI, for example, has an hours of service exemption request pending with FMCSA that would grant their customers an extra 2 hours of daily drive time. Longer drive times without human error caused by fatigue or impairment. That's the promise of autonomous trucking. That and a 30% reduction in freight costs. Independent owner-operators are in the crosshairs of that change, but it could be decades before full autonomy is achieved. In our final segment, we'll look at some of the things drivers can do to ensure that they keep trucking for years to come. For the Truck Boss Show, I'm Brad Kuhn. I'll see you down the road.